Hello everyone, this is Sam with Turn 1 Magic, and I am recording just a mock draft here. I got inspired by the MTG Salvation forums. They have this thing where you draft the above person's cube, and they all post cube list. And I've been trying to get drafts done on Cockatrice recently, but it's been a bit of a hassle because people are either drop or I can't get all the rounds in. And one day I kept on getting disconnected, and every time I came back, my opponent had me on the ignore list, and it was just like, all right, this is just getting ridiculous. So, just as a change of pace, this is just a mock draft. I'm not going to play any games with this deck, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's all right. This is my brother's cube. It's a good list. I have a tough time like describing what lists are like because I think all cube, as long as it has like all the cores, which the core staples, which this one does, I don't really know how to differentiate. I guess it's aggrily focused, aggro, a lot of aggro cards in it, but at the same time, like you can draft a control deck pretty well. And with this first pick, also there's also unglued cards as you can see with the magical hacker right here, which is also why I don't think I could ever draft this on Cockatrice because it's tough to explain to someone or have argue about a symbol status or something like that. But it's a lot of fun in real life. I've drafted this cube hundreds of times. I'm not gonna say I know it by like the back of my hand, but I have a good idea of what's possible. And for this pack, there's a lot of really good cards. There's Maze Ith, which I like a lot. Colonnade is always good. Bunch of good blue cards. Prevent Command's alright, but I'm gonna go with Phyrexian Metamorph. It's one of the more universal and flexible cards you can draft in Cube. It goes awesome in any deck that would want to clone, which is most of them, either in an aggressive deck to like copy one of your guys or one of their guys, or you copy a sword, or in a slower deck where you can copy your bombs, or really anything. Like Signets are even fine too to copy if you need them. Three and 2 life to play Signet, it's not the worst. So I'm gonna take this. And next we have a bunch of really good cards here. Kind of a shame that this isn't a real draft. We'd be having a lot of fun right now. There is a Rafel's, which is a personal favorite. Mimic Vat, which is pretty good. Couple duels, Skin Render, Glenalendra, Lantax, which is good, and Chromatic Lantern, which I like a lot. But Recurring Nightmare is just a sick card, and this has been a card that since I first started cubing has always just stood out as what cubing is all about. Like, it presents a power level at a very cheap cost that is not impossible to overcome, but when it gets going, it's unstoppable. I like these type of decks in Cube, like these combo decks. Current Nightmare is less of a combo deck, it's more of a value deck, but like, if you have enough mana, you can start comboing off by getting your creatures in and out. I already have Phyrexian Metamorph, and I can sacrifice it if it's not a creature and bring it back in as a weapon if a new weapon came out. Now with the new legendary rule, I can take their Jitty and start using it as my own. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to take this Recurring Nightmare right here. And for the next pack, okay, so there is a lot of red cards, a lot of green cards. I do like green black Recurring Nightmare. A couple pretty good lands, which I'm probably going to take. I might take the Hinterland Harbor or the Badlands, but I'm not really excited about taking a Badlands. Red black isn't really the best in my opinion for Recurring Nightmare because red is so aggro focused. There are a lot of good cards you can grab for it, but like there are a decent amount of like artifact destroyers, which is like not always what you really want to be bringing in and out. And some of the direct damage guys are good too, but I usually rather have like blue or green. But I guess actually red's pretty good now that I think about it. But in this pack, I'm not gonna take a third pick Fire Slinger when there's something like Plow Under or Winter Orb in here or even Chain Lightning. But I'd rather not. I'd rather stick with this kind of aggressive. Not like non-aggressive deck so far. So I think I'm gonna take, and I'm not blue by any means, by the way. Even though I have this Phyrexian Metamorph, I would play this in any deck. Just to speak to the power level of this card. It doesn't matter what the deck does, except maybe like a Storm combo deck. But I would play this card in every deck I draft, pretty much, other than like Storm combo or maybe some other silly decks that I've never drafted before. But I think I like green, just in general in Cube. I think Plow Under is very good. I'm not really passing a lot of green cards. Ooh, actually, you know what? Fauna Sham might be better here because I can like start pitching creatures through Recurring Nightmare, grabbing the ones I want instead. So, and it's also like a 2-drop, which is fine if like you actually get an aggressive start going without being aggressive. So I think I might take this instead, even though Pounder is, I think, better. I think I might want this card more in this style of deck. So let's see what we get here. Ooh, this is a tough one because, of course, I'm green. So we have 2 awesome ramp cards in Noble Hierarch and Wall of Roots. But we also have a Mirror Battlesphere, which is just nutty and silly and stupid. And if the green dries up, if I don't take one of these 2 green cards, then I could still play a ramp deck that ramps into Mirror Battlesphere. Now, there's also Crystal Ball, which I think is pretty good, but I'm not going to take it this early when these other cards are in here. Noxious Revival is good, but I'd rather streamline my deck a little more before I start going, grabbing cards like Regrowth that aren't on a creature. If it was a Eternal Witness, I would take this in like 2 seconds, but it's not as good when you're trying to get a lot of creatures. Fiend Hunter, which is okay, but I don't really want to go double white card. I'll probably just take the Battlesphere here because it's one of my favorite finishers. There's a good chance one of these will wheel, especially since I'm playing with a bunch of bots, but there's also a chance they don't. But I would be fine with an Erratic Portal. But yeah, I'll take the Battlesphere. Try to stay open, because even though it looks like green is open, it could not be in all actuality. Top could be good. I like Top as like a value type creature. Karmic Guide could be awesome. I could play some like Junk Reanimator style deck, a Junk Nightmare deck. I could not even be playing green. Tusker's pretty cool. I like that card a lot, and that could help me play a bunch of different colors. Avalanche Riders is alright, but that would be, I don't really want to go Jund, but it's not the worst either. That actually is a pretty good color combination for Recurring Nightmare. Top keeps me open, but it's also not like super exciting for what I really want to do. And since this isn't an actual draft, I think I might just take the Karmic Guide and see what happens. No, I think I'd rather try to go into like some green-based ramp deck and use this as a potential finisher, the Krosan Tusker. I value Krosan Tusker pretty highly because it's card draw on green, along with it's a land fixer. It's pretty easy to play. Like, it's pretty much just like cycling on a 6/5 body. So this is the deck that like it really shines in, because you cycle it away and then you can recur Nightmare it back into play, which is pretty strong in my opinion. I see the Centaur. I think it's good, but it's not as good as other creatures could be. I'd rather start playing like a bunch of different colors than just start going heavy into green, because I'm super greedy and this isn't a real thing. So I'm going to take Krosan Tusker. Ooh, what did I just pick? Hopefully nothing. Treetop Village. Well, that sucks. I double-clicked right there, so I don't really know what was in the last pack, but that's okay, because this pack has... I mean, Treetop Village is actually fine. I don't think... It's probably not the card I would have taken out of that pack. I'm used to Drafts.in, where you double-click, so I'll have to consciously remember that from here on out. But I think Viridian Shaman is a pretty easy pick here. I guess I am going pretty heavy green right now. I wish I knew it was in that last pack. But other than that, there's a Tension Sphere, which doesn't really look like I'd want to play right now. Pride Mage, I mean, a bunch of white cards, some red aggressive cards, and some black cards I have no interest in. I mean, these cards are fine, but I'd also be okay with like just splashing for black and just playing Recurring Nightmare like that. So I'll take Shaman and see what we get from here. So that's a Woodfall Premise, and I love that card. But there's also a Misty Rainforest, which is really good. I'll go for the Throat, which is a nice piece of removal, but I'm going to try to value removal creatures higher than actual pieces of removal. Now, I don't really have a lot of ramp, but there is a chance I could have like an actual reanimation theme going on, because I am going to be trying to play some black here. That being said, I think Woodfall Primus is fine if I am trying to ramp, though it does suck that I passed that Wall of Roots and Noble Hierarch. Misty Rainforest is probably the safer of the picks, just because I already have a giant fatty, and I might be playing more blue than I think I am. or I could get some duel that'd be nice with it. That being said, I like playing sweet cards, and Woodfall Primus is incredibly sweet. There's a Wildfire deck I drafted, I'm going to write about in the next couple weeks, and Woodfall Primus is a big part of that, so we'll just live through that a little bit longer. And this is back to the first pack, and there's some pretty good cards in here. I'm probably going to take this Arbor Elf, but I do like seeing Thirst for Knowledge, though it looks like I am going to be more green focused than anything else. Magical Hacker is really good, but I don't have any Planeswalkers or any equipment that I want to nullify. Colony would be good if I had any white. This card is whatever. I'd rather just have the Mana Elf and start playing this deck as it actually should be getting played. Okay, so Mimic Vat is super strong. And if we're going to be sacrificing creatures, it's pretty nice like that to the Recurring Nightmare. But with that being said, I think Bug is a really good combination of Recurring Nightmare. Because I think black, blue, and green provide all the things you really want for end of the battlefield creatures, with clones, bounce, and things like that in blue, kill spells in green, and artifact and like other permanent destruction kill spells in black and artifact and other permanent destruction in green. So I'm gonna start taking fixing in these spots. I don't know if fixing is really better than Mimic Vat here, because getting like Mere Battlesphere or Woodfall Primus or Viridian Shaman to a point is really good with Mimic Vat, but I can get other. I already have an effect like that, and it also kind of doesn't really work with this because I might want to keep on bringing them back and forth. So I'm gonna just take the duel, maybe get some blue cards out of it. Let's see, Badlands maybe. I'm not definitely. I could be playing. I think Winter Orb is sick, but my deck is actually really good against Winter Orb, so I don't really mind seeing it across the way. Now, is that reason for me to take it? That should have some consideration right here, because I only have one elf, and the Hierarch and the Wall of Roots didn't come back. And I haven't really seen any signets or anything like that, but I also haven't really seen any fetches either, other than that Misty Rainforest. That being said, I don't even know if I'm really going to play red. I have no inclination towards red right now. Yeah, I'm just going to ignore that, because one of the red cards I would want is this Gitsu Slinger, and I'm going to take this Winter Orb. I might end up playing it, might not. Crystal Ball versus Erratic Portal. I think Crystal Ball is really good, and it probably has to be the pick here. Erratic Portal is awesome, and a lot of people would take that because they want one of these recurable effects, but if I'm really heavy green, I'm not going to have a way to dig pretty deep other than like Sylvan Library, which I think was in one of the earlier packs. Maybe that was a different draft. But it's a fine card. I can copy it with Metamorph and just go really deep. This game is about, when I make this deck, I'm going to be searching for Recurring Nightmare and trying to play that as much as possible. Now, Erratic Portal does give me value for these creatures, but two of them cost 7 and 7+ mana, and the one that doesn't is Viridian Shaman. And I understand that I'm going to be trying to get more creatures, but I don't know. I think I'd rather wait for Crystal Shard if that comes around. If not, I don't think I'm really going to miss the effect when I already have Recurring Nightmare. I think I'd rather find the Recurring Nightmare, start winning the game that way, than having like the lesser Recurring Nightmare that costs way more to keep going. So, and I just like Crystal Ball. I think it's a pretty strong card. Now I'm kind of wishing I took that Badlands a little bit. Toil Trouble, what does this do? I don't know what that does. I don't think that card is very good. But I'd rather have the fixing than the Vandal at this point. Neither one of these cards are going to do anything for me. Goblin Patrol, great. So that's the first pack. And I like what direction I'm going in right now. Let's see what we have here. Overgrown Tomb takes some consideration, but there are 2 reanimation spells in here, and with a Fauna Shaman, I'm going to want one of those. I like Reanimate, but I think the fact that you can instant speed Necromancy and you don't lose a shit ton of life, like, sometimes I'm just not going to be able to play Reanimate on my Woodfall Primus or my Mirror Battlesphere. Like, I might be able to play a turn 2 Reanimate after somehow getting those guys in the graveyard. But I'm pretty sure my brother Pete's cube doesn't have like Entomb or that flying thingamajig that when you discard a card, I guess I mean that little dude. You know what I'm talking about. But I mean Kakusho's nice in here as well. Wasteland's pretty cool. If I was in white, I would be looking at that Blade Splicer. But I think I'd rather just Necromancy. Some of these creatures, I might get a Kakusho back. I don't believe so. It'd be really nice if I did. But I'm going to get more finishers. I already have 2. Whereas, I'd rather have something that supports my Fauna Shaman and the black reanimation theme that I have going on here. Upheaval, I unfortunately cannot play. Even though, what's stopping me? I don't think anything really is. But, whatever. I'm looking at Karn. I think I'm pretty firm green-black right now. And I think the blue is not really going to happen. And instead of going Upheaval, I'd rather just focus on this reanimation theme. That being said, I am looking at a Karn right now, which is another 7 drop. But I guess technically Upheaval is like a 7 or 8 drop. I'm also looking at Vorpede and Thrun, but one of those two might come back. Vampiric Tutor is really good, and it'll find me that Recurring Nightmare. Like, you know, I was talking about that with Crystal Ball. But Karn is just so sick. Like, I've won and lost so many games with and to Karn. I mean, actually, there's one time I was playing against my friend Kirk, and I'll end up losing this game, but I will never forget this. He goes up to, like, I have a Zealous Conscripts in hand, and he is just destroying me. And he has a couple cards under the Karn. I end up losing this game. And he's thinking about what to do with the Karn. He's at 10. He goes up to 14. I'm just like, fuck yes. Because I was pretty much dead and bored for the next 2 or 3 turns. I steal the Conscript, minus 14. And, I mean, I delayed the game for another half an hour or like 15 minutes and I lost. But it was still pretty sweet. But yeah, that aside, I would love to take Upheaval. Also the other day, we had an Upheaval in a 4-man draft go like pick 12. It was kind of absurd. I think we're all just rookies. But I'm hoping either Thrun, Vorpede, maybe the Yawgmoth will, but not really, or the Murderous Redcap will come back. I don't think the Vampiric Tutor will come back. I think that was definitely going to be gone. I think one of the 2, Vorpede or Thrun, are going to be gone. But I'm pretty happy taking a Thrun because I just love that card. I think that card's pretty friggin' awesome, and I'll try to play it in any deck that possibly could play it. Now, if I didn't have 3 cards that cost the 7+, I'd be looking at the Sundering Titan a little more than I am. But because I don't, I am looking at Sword of War and Peace right now with maybe Wildfire, maybe Wheel of Fortune on the back burner. If I took that, I do have Stomping Ground, so that's something to consider. But I think the Sword is better than Wheel of Fortune, even though I do have the reanimation theme going on. I also I'm not really red at all. I mean, I'm barely black, but I'm not going to just jump into another color just because I can, even though I've taken that as an excuse a million times before in the past. But, actually, Wheel of Fortune could be sweet in this deck. I think I'm actually going to go with Wheel of Fortune. Sword might be the better card, but I do have a Stomping Ground, and that's like typically enough for me. Stomping Ground, Arbor Elf, Crozin Tusker, Phyrexian Metamorph, maybe. I think Wheel of Fortune is gonna be better here. It could be like the one card I splash outside my 2 main colors. Just play, or I can just play this Inferno Titan as well because I just love playing. Ooh, actually no, I'm gonna play Solemn here. Dance the Dead is really good, but my curve is really high, and it's not a guarantee I'm always going to be cheating these cards into play. Also, Solemn Simulacrum is awesome with Recurring Nightmare. It's really like one of the sicker cards. You just keep on getting your basic lands, thinning your deck out, and then when you throw it away again, you're drawing all the spells that are now coming to the top because you have no more basic lands in your deck. Inferno Titan's really good, like I said. I think Keldon Marauders actually is a really sweet card in the Recurring Nightmare deck, and hopefully that'll come back because it's a card that you can finish out games pretty quickly because you're pretty much getting a free shock and maybe like a couple attacks. You can like chump block pretty well. Dance the Dead, pretty good. Phyrexian Revoker is good, but I'd rather have it as a sideboard card in this deck, and I'm not going to take a sideboard card over a card that I'm definitely going to play this early on. Hexmage, whatever. a free whatever. So looks like I'm definitely not playing blue. But like I said, I'm still gonna play that Metamorph, and I'm very very happy to take this Solemn Simulacrum. I'll probably still play that Tropical Island too, just because that card is really sick. And perfect natural order. One, two, three, one, two, three. I really only have 3 early creatures. I guess Treetop Village kind of counts too. Luna's Prowler is something to consider, but whatever. I already have a pretty good discard effect in Wheel of Fortune, and I'm fine with that. Whereas Natural Order, sneaking out a Woodfall Primus is just it's pretty gross. If you can do it on like turn 3 off of an elf, it's really really hard for you to lose the game unless you're playing against a white player and he has swords or Oblivion Ring and those cards like that. I would love the Garruk. Definitely not going to wheel, which sucks. Reflecting Pool would be fine. Vivid Crag would be really nice. Prowler would be cool if it came back. So would Hypnotic Spectre, but like I don't really care about Spectre so much since my black is super super light splash. So I'm gonna take the Natural Order. And here we have okay. So I have some tough picks here. Spellskite is awesome. It's just a nice roadblock for a deck that might need a roadblock. Bramble Crush will deal with a lot of stuff, but I don't think I have a lot of room for that, and maybe I can just get some. I mean, I already have Wolfall Primus, and I got Viridian Shaman. Molten Tail is sick and is awesome in this type of deck, but I'm looking to use my creatures in the graveyard more so than just spit them out as 4 damage, and I'm going to be using a lot of mana too, though it is a discard outlet. That being said, I think that Bloodstained Mire is a little bit better than all those right now because my fixing isn't ideal, and I have a Stomping Ground, and I also have a decent amount of finishers already too, so I don't really need the Molten Tail. So I'm more like a get ahead of the curve deck, or trying to be. So I'll take this Bloodstained Mire. I think that's a pretty good card to have right here. Play Strand? No, I'm not even playing those colors. Crucible, kind of bad right here. It actually might be Ancient Tomb or Vivid Marsh. Now there is that. Excuse me, moving the computer. There is also the Vivid Crag, but that's not definitely going to come back. Whereas Ancient Tomb can allow me to get a turn 2 Natural Order, which is kind of bonkers. I think Ancient Tomb is also super underrated. I think a lot of people put too much demerit into the fact that you lose 2 life. They also don't understand that you're getting a Soul Ring out of one of your lands, and you're playing all your cards one step ahead of the curve. So, but also I'm trying to play 3 colors here. But at that same sense, one of them is just Wheel of Fortune, which is the lightest of light splashes, and the black is also very light too. So I think I'm fine with Ancient Tomb here. I'll get more actual fixing. Bloodgift Demon. You can tell this isn't real because there's a Snapcaster Mage still in this pack. Memory Jar. What happens at the end? If it's the end of turn, each player discards their hand. That seems pretty good. Volcanic Island seems alright too. And if I get like a sick blue card, I can actually play it. I have the Tropical Island as well. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna set up for like a sick blue card if I see one later on. Like a Snapcaster Mage. Oh wait. And Overgrown Tomb, awesome card to grab here. More fixing. Do I have enough playables in here? Oh look, Thrun. I think Thrun is great. Decent natural order target. I need more elves in this deck, more so than anything else. Though Murder's Redcap could be better here. Though I don't really want to be playing these like. I'd rather just be. I think Thrun is just good enough on his own. Better than Murder's Redcap. It's pretty sick with Necromancy, and if I get another weapon, it'd be way, 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 way better. And Murder's Redcap are my 2 non-green colors, but what cards aren't I playing here? Kirdape, Goblin Patrol. Otherwise, I'm playing everything else. So what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 14 playables right now. No consideration for Hallowed Fountain. Black Sun Zenith is good, but if I'm going to be playing a double black card, I'd rather it be a creature. I just really can't pass Thrun. Even though Murderous Redcap would be better, I think Thrun just wins games on his own without like any effort really on your part. Mishra's Factory is okay here, but I don't really know how much I want a manland, a colorless manland. Twinblade Slasher is cool. I think I'm going to go with Pyroclasm in case there's another deck out there that I could possibly want to sideboard this in against. It's not going to make the main deck, but it's not going to be bad either. This could make the main deck if I don't have enough playables by the end of this, which is, you know, a possibility. I'm kind of playing pretty loosely right now. Glad I passed that Vivid Marsh because this Vivid Crag came back, and I'll definitely play that. Get to Catmint versus Smash. I'd rather have Smash. And Crucible should be sick if I can get more fetches. So that looks like a pretty easy JIT. Though I want to say something real quick. This card is, I mean, just to show the power of Jitty, or Jit, or whatever you want to pronounce it, I think Symbol Status is the best green card, if not one of the top 2 green cards, if your cube properly supports it. Symbol Status for 4, like, typically makes 6+ tokens, which is absurd. 4 mana. In colors that can play 4 drops and turn 3 and 2 fairly consistently. That being said, I do have, pretty sure I have a Thrun here somewhere. I do, yep. So Jitty is just incredible with that. And I mean, there aren't a lot of cards I'll pick over Jitty. Maybe like, you know, certain pieces of power, like a Soul Ring. But I don't think I would take Mana Vault over Jitty. I don't think I would take Grim Monolith. I don't think I would take any Mox. It'd be tough between that and Black Lotus. Pack 1, pick 1 would be really tough. Maybe in later packs if I knew exactly what I was doing. It sucks passing a Symbol Status, but I could get it back because it is bots. But, I mean, Jitty's just Jitty. Card is stupid. What do we have? Okay. Hornet Queen seems pretty cool, but I already have a ton of finishers. It'd be a nice natural order target, but I don't know how realistic natural order is going to be in this deck anymore. I really need some early green cards. Trainer's Edict is a fine piece of removal. Tombstalker isn't really what we're looking to do. Ring Gix is pretty cool. Ice Storm is pretty nice. The cards that I'm looking at right now, seriously considering, are Pack Rat, City of Brass, and Pernicious Deed. City of Brass will fix us completely. He'll deal us damage, but we don't have a lot of the cards that do deal us damage, so it's not the worst, even though we are playing a little bit of black. Pack Rat is really, really good. We can toss a lot of different cards to it, either whether they're duds or cards that we want to reanimate, and we can do it pretty early, all the while delivering the beats. Pernicious Deed is just a sick, sick, sick card, and the 2 cards that we can customize, like, and we already have the Treetop Village, which is nice. If we had more cheaper cards, I would consider the Hornet Queen higher. Like if we had another Noble Hierarch or another elf of some sort. Like maybe if we had like 3 or 4 elves. Because there would be times that I'd rather have a flying army than I would a 6/6 Trampler with Persist. As crazy as that may sound. That all being said, I do like how my fixing is looking right now. So I'd rather have the Pernicious Deed as like a catch-all to a lot of different cards. And if I do get a Planeswalker in these next packs, I'll be happy to have that Pernicious Deed. Instead, I have, what card is this? Oh, Topsy Turvy. Okay, well, that card's cool, but I'm not going to take it here. My decision is a lot tougher because I'm looking at, I know these blue cards, which is a shame because there's Tinker and Venser and they're really nice. I just don't think I can pass a Wurmcoil Engine. Natural Order might not be on the agenda anymore. Maybe I'll get back one of these two. I mean, these are the cards I'm really looking at. But I already have a survival type effect. And Genesis, I think, often is just gravy. So there will be games where he does close it out, and there are decks where he's awesome. And this deck could be that. But, I mean, let's be real here. It's a Wurmcoil Engine, and I have a Recurring Nightmare, and I think that just means I win. I mean, I don't know exactly, but I'm pretty sure that's how that works. 1 second, I have to grab my charger because my computer is kind of dying right now. Give me 1 second, please. So here is that crystal shard I was looking at earlier, or I was talking about earlier, but even though I have the volcanic and the tropical island, it says who? Maybe I am trying to play it, and like, yeah, you know what? I don't really want the Hellkite Overlord, even though I am playing Natural Order, and I'm in these colors. Because having 2 red isn't always a guarantee. I might not even be playing Natural Order. I'd rather just have this as like, you know, random value here and there. Favum use is fine. If I didn't have these 2 duels, I don't even think I'd be talking about Crystal Shard right now. But the fact that I already have 2 blue sources that I can play for free without any hindrance to the rest of my deck and play them in place of a mountain and a forest, Crystal Shard would be really, really good here because, I mean, I have things like Solemn, Viridian Shaman, Battlesphere. Is this card actually going to be good? Let's play, leaves play. I mean, Marauders, I guess, is okay. And I think it's a little too late to start. You know, I think the Natural Order Dream is dead. I don't need another fatty. So I'm just going to take this Crystal Shard. If I had more guys, I would take this. But then again, I would also take another card as well. But I mean, I'm happy with Crystal Shard. I think it's a pretty good card for this deck. Worldly Tutor is looking awesome, but so is Garruk. I love Planeswalkers. With Pernicious Deed, he's just kind of bonkers. Yavimaya, Raging Ravine, they get consideration as well. Mizzy Motors is fine, but I don't really... I mean, I do need the removal, but I think I'd rather have the ramp cards instead. It makes Natural Order more of a thing, because I can pump out tokens if I need to. It's another 4-drop, which I'm not thrilled about, but it's not the end of the world either. How many creatures do I have for this? 1, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have enough to, you know, where the Recurring Nightmare is still really good. And I have enough big cards, and even the Recurring Nightmare counts as like a big mana card if you want to keep on getting value out of it. Some pretty nice ones in here. I'm looking at Sarkhan Vol. Skillian not so much because at this point it'll be a sideboard card, and I'd rather just fix my mana or get like more bombs. So Sarkhan Vol I'm looking at. He would be awesome with these big fatties, but the thing about Sarkhan Vol is like I'm always looking. It's often the 24th or 23rd card for me, and that shouldn't be the way it is, but I mean it is, unfortunately. That being said, I think I like Carpeline Gorge because even though it's really awful with Arbor Elf, it is a duel. Creeping Mold's okay, but I don't really want it. Thoughtseize is fine. Again, I don't really want it though. I can Thoughtseize myself, but whatever. I'd rather have the fixing. I'd rather my deck that I'm trying to streamline perform better than have, you know, than to take another card that I potentially might not even play. That could just be a sideboard card. I'd rather my main deck be the best than have a really good sideboard, so I'm trying to say. Just because a lot of times in cube matches, I find myself not even really sideboarding because I just want my deck to do one thing. And it usually does it pretty well, and the cards that aren't making the deck for a reason. This pack, I wish the Harrow was maybe a couple packs earlier, so I can have both of these, the Harrow and Llanowar Elf. Llanowar Elf gets the nod because I do have Natural Order, and it's making that an actual thing now. It's a shame I didn't grab any of those other big green things, but I think having one Natural Order target is perfectly fine. And Frozen Tusker and Thrun are also okay options as well. Harrow is really good because it fixes my mana, but I'd rather have the turn 1 elf and the turn 2, you know, turn 2 potential Ancient Tomb Natural Order. Seems really fucking awesome. So I'll take that. This is the last pack that I haven't seen yet. Now there's a Putrefy, which is really good. Let me count my playables here, because if I don't have enough, I'll take the Putrefy, or maybe the Char, but if I do, I'm just going to take Blood Crypt. So I have cards I'm definitely going to play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 now. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 with like a bunch of ones that I kind of want to play but not really. I'm going to get more cards that I want. So I've noticed the decks that do the best for me are the ones that can like play the most colors with the best mana. I think Putrefy is sick. I don't really have any kill spells actually. How much fixing do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pieces of fixing versus Putrefy. Oh man, this is a really tough pick actually because I really want to destroy artifact or creatures in both my main colors. But there's a chance I might not even main. I mean, I'll definitely main deck that actually. How many pieces of fixing do I actually have again? 1, 2. It's not really fixing right there. So 1, 2. I really only have 3 pieces. So I think I'm gonna take this Blood Crypt. I'd rather my mana be a lot better than have another kill spell, even though I don't have any kill spells. But that's fine. Spike Shot Elder? Nah, don't really care. Fire Imp? Could be playable. Chandra? What am I really trying to copy here? Natural Order? Whatever. Chromox? I don't really have enough colored spells to justify that. So, Fire Imp's good. It's not the best, but it kills a lot of different creatures. You can recur it pretty well. I might just take Koth here because he's just sick. Even though I'm not playing like a super aggressive deck, I don't really care for Tombstalker. I'm not really looking for Desolation and Mana War, Curse Scroll, and Ice Storm. I might just take the Koth because he's just a sweet card. And if I can have Koth out there with Pernicious Deed, it's going to be tough for me to lose the game. And it'll beat us another Planeswalker. And having multiple Planeswalkers out, like, the more Planeswalkers you have on the board, it's just, I mean, this might sound like a, good cards, good statement, but, like, the more Planeswalkers you have on the board, the higher the chance that you're going to win by a lot. So, Koth, here we go. And also I have some Sweet Mountains. Oh, Survival came back. How'd that happen? How many creatures do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, definitely worth taking Survival here, I feel. I counted earlier and there are at least 10 that I'd want. Bunch of blue cards in here. Hellrider I might take. I have no reason to splash for white. I'm not going to play Hellrider. Probably should have taken that counter actually, so I don't have to face it. Awesome, Raging Ravine. My mana is just incredible. I can play pretty much any color I want. Sarkhan Vol, might play it. Like I said, the more Planeswalkers you have, the better. So just having like being able to draw multiples is really good. And Sarkhan Vol is actually really good with this deck, I feel. I have to register or log in to build my deck. Well, either way, the cards I think I would play would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. No, I'd rather play Sarkhan as my 24. So, even though I can't build the deck right now, I think that's fine because my deck would consist of Phyrexian Metamorph, Fauna Shaman, Crozen Tusker, Viridian Shaman, Arbor Elf, Recurring Nightmare, Mirror Battlesphere, Woodfall Primus, Crystal Ball, Necromancy, Wheel of Fortune, Natural Order, Solemn Simulacrum, Thrun, Pernicious Deed, Umezawa's Jet, Wormcoil Engine, Crystal Shard, Garruk, Wild Speaker, Llanowar Elves, Fire Imp, Survival, Sarkhan Vol. And I'll talk about why I excluded some cards right now. Kird Ape, Goblin Patrol, it's not that type of deck. I hope I said Natural Order because I want to play that. Pyroclasm is pretty much a sideboard only card. If I'm playing a deck that's like super aggressive or, the other deck that got all the mana elves, I might want to play it. Crucible, there aren't really enough synergies in my deck to want to play it. If I had that Hero, maybe I'd consider it, or if I grab that Wasteland, or if there's Strip Mine, I'd definitely consider it, but now I only have a Bloodstained Mire, which isn't enough in my opinion. Smash, another sideboard card. Keldon Marauders, it's good. And I think it'd be good in this deck, but I think this deck's a little slower than this would want it to be. And even though I can combo off and like, just continually shock them as it comes in and out, or like continually ping them, I don't think that's worth it. Koth, it's good, but this isn't really an aggressive deck. The same reason with Hellrider not being in there. I didn't pick this decision, so I don't give a shit about it. But yeah, that's the deck I would make. I'm sorry that I can't show the curve to you, but I mean, I picked so many lands in this draft. I have Ravine, Blood Crypt, Carpeline Gorge, Vivid Crag, Volcanic Island, Bloodstained Mire, Ancient Tomb, Stomping Ground, and what is this one? Tropical Island. Oh, also, I'm not playing this Winter Orb because I actually didn't get as many ramp guys as I wanted to. Even though I have Garruk, Llanowar Elves, and Arbor Elf, my deck's a little bit slower than I want it to be. But my higher costed cards, I can either Necromancy back into play, or Recurring Nightmare them, or Natural Order them in for the most part. Battlesphere is just sick. I just can't not play that card. And with Sarkhan Vol, it's pretty much lights out at that point. Is this for power? Do they get the +1/+X roll? No, it's just the number of mirrors. It'd be sick if it was their total power, because then Sarkhan Vol would be the craziest card ever. I wish I was playing some matches with this deck, because I'd like to see how Sarkhan Vol does. I don't play with them nearly enough. Even though I make like red-green or like green-based ramp decks a lot, it's not something I'm always doing. But yeah, next time I do this, I'll try to, well, I'll definitely register so I can actually make the deck and show you what I'm working with. But until then, thank you for watching. It was a lot of fun. And yeah.